Hamjambo.
Hi guys.
Karibu kwa 13:20.
So the other day when I did something really stupid.
Hiki ni kipindi cha wale waliobalehe katika umri wa miaka 13 na miaka 20 hivi.
So I was at like the supermarket, yeah, but I needed to get home and I didn't know how I was going to do that. Keep talking.
Na katika kipindi hiki tunawasaidia kujikuza katika neno la Mungu.
So what I had to do, right, is I kind of sort of stole somebody's car, but my parents can't know.
Na pia kujikuza katika maadili mema.
And I'm really surprised that the cops haven't like figured it out. I feel like they're on to me though, cuz like today when I was coming I was followed.
Hello everybody. Welcome to 1320. The coolest hangout for teens, youth, and anyone in between. Oh, by the way, also twins. Yes. For those people who are almost becoming twins, I salute you. Before we go on, I'm your host. Rafiki, and beside me is the one and only
Sarah Mudera. I'm just here for the food, obviously, but hi, it's nice to see you.
You know her.
And you love her.
Okay, now serious business. So, today we are talking about something that is quite relatable to, I think, everyone. Everyone, right? Fear. For those people who watch Green Lantern, you know that the yellow element, their biggest strength, it comes from fear. And they say that fear is not the absence of bravery, or something like that. So,
that was the most obscure reference. He said Green Lantern, and I was like, okay, Green Lantern. And then he kept talking, and I was just like, I have no idea what this man is talking about.
Jackie, fear is not the absence of bravery, but fear is the acceptance of believing you can't do what you actually can because you don't believe you can do it, although if you try, you actually might. That's a very long explanation. If you tell me to do that thing again, I will not be able to. Trust me, I am trying to join those words back to back
What is the
in my head.
absence of bravery? It's not the absence of bravery. Yeah. No, that's courage. Fear is not the absence. Fear is the absence of bravery. Oh my God! Fear is the absence of bravery.
I am honestly out of here.
Fear is not the absence of bravery. Oh my God! It's courage.
Now
courage is not the absence of bravery.
It is actually.
But oh my gosh, that was so funny.
Wait.
And it took me so long to realize it.
I knew there was something wrong. Sarah was looking at me funny. And
no,
now look.
I was trying to understand. No. I was trying to understand what you're saying. Yeah. So I was trying to understand what you're saying. And then I was like, yeah. Fear is not the absence of bravery. I was like, wait. Fear is the absence of bravery. This is exactly what it is. You confused me. That was very interesting. It took me so long to realize it as well. Wait. But anyway, guys. Yes, we're talking about fear. Fear, being afraid. I don't think being terrified is the same thing. We're like being afraid, what's another synonym?
Scared.
Yeah, I think scared. But I'm thinking in terms of how we're going to talk about fear today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fear is. Andy, now you can start from here. So fear is in our context,
we have said it's being
context,
it's being afraid. Yes,
it's being afraid, it's being
but
scared.
it's not being terrified.
It's not being terrified is when
terrified is like something has made you feel fear.
Like some scary
or you fear for your life.
Some scary
like you fear for your life. That's being terrified.
Or being robbed.
Yes,
that's when you're terrified.
But the fear we talk about today is being scared.
Being scared of doing things that you are called to do.
Yeah.
Because you feel like
you're the worst. Sorry.
you feel like
I'm sorry.
You feel like you're not able, you're not worthy, but you actually are. Because if you're called to do it, then
good.
There's definitely a reason why you are called to do it and not anybody else.
Yeah. I have nothing to add. No, I'm kidding. So the fear we're talking about today is a very special kind of fear, because it's not like for example, if you're told to go and fight a lion, like you have every reason to be fear for your life. Run if you can. Like it's not worth it, because you're gonna get eaten alive. Let's just be honest. You're not David. I mean, you could be, but especially if it's someone else forcing you and it's not a situation where you have no choice. So, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the fear of yes, wrong phone. I know exactly what to read. Exactly, like this is just like I don't understand why it came to my brain.
Revelation.
At this point in time.
Revelation.
But what is this? I'm so sorry, guys, but like this came into my mind, and it's a poem I memorized like when I was a teenager that I never took to heart, as I will explain later. But yes, so this is the poem. It's by Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. And it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And the reason I say that is because the fear we're talking about today, when you think about it, for example, you're not scared of failing necessarily. You know what I mean? Especially if, let's say, okay, so let's start giving examples, yeah? You are a musician, a producer maybe, and you make really good music. And you know that it's good music, and everybody around you knows that it's good music. But you don't want to put your name out there, you don't want to put it on YouTube or whatever. It's very much, you just very much keep it to your close circle. You're not scared that it's gonna fail. If anything, you're scared that it's gonna do well and what that consequence is going to be. And I know this because that's something that's come into my mind before. It's like, oh, so what if I do well? What are my friends gonna say? You know? Like, especially if you have that one friend that's always putting you down. It's like, yeah, so what if you go and you do well? What happens then? Yeah. So, for example, if you're a really good actress and then you see an advertisement for an ad for acting, whether it's in a play or in a show, and then you get the job, your entire life is going to change. Like your entire life is, I'm so sorry, that was disgusting. Your entire life is going to change. The circles you're going to be in is going to change. The amount of money that shows up because of something you've done is going to change. Your schooling situation will have to change. Like, so many things about your life will have to change, and that's what scares you. It's not that you're going to fail. It's not that you're going to be miserable. It's not that it's going to be a terrible time. It's because you're going to succeed. And then what? So, yeah, that's why I thought of
of the poem. That's why I thought of the poem, because even as we were talking about it, I was like, it's not being terrified, it's not even being afraid, it's not being afraid, it's the unknown. It's a place you've never been before, a place you know you can get to, but you've never been before. And so you just sit in your little comfort zone and you allow the world to happen around you. Whereas, like, there was this illustration I saw one time where it was like the galaxy, like the universe, so stars, planets, beautiful things. And it was all very beautiful. And then it was like, and then it's like this small circle and it's like the earth. So it's just literally just the earth and the moon. And then it's like your comfort zone, and then it's like everything else. And that's exactly what it is. So you sit in your comfort zone because that's where you're comfortable, that's where you know things will happen. Meanwhile, there's a whole galaxy of beautiful things waiting for you. But because you're scared of what is out there and what is going to be expected of you, or who you're going to have to become in order to continue to be out there, you just sit. And you see somebody else get that acting job, or you see somebody else audition for singing, and just all of these things, and your life could change. You just sit because you're scared. And yeah, I have talked for so long. Now we've switched places today. So you're gonna have to pick it up.
Sarah has just opened something up. This is a bit weird. It's a very weird thought, of which when it comes to me you should expect by now. Sarah's talked about the galaxy, like it's huge. There are billions of planets possibly out there, and I can't even count the stars because I'll grow old before I get to a teeny eighth of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Why do you think let's say in movies, why do you think aliens come to Earth? They have their own planet, they have other planets around, but they come to Earth. Not because they think Earth is dope, it has awesome celebrities, good music, fast cars and all that. It's because they want to explore. They know that there is much more out there
than what they have.
Yeah, imagine if aliens like never came to Earth. Nobody ever thought of the existence of aliens coming to Earth.
Yeah.
It would be a bit weird.
Boring.
Because let's be honest, Transformers.
Like, come on now. How dope is that movie? Movies.
And it's not that they didn't have a planet. Actually, Cybertron was one of the most advanced planets.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting off topic. Fear. Fear is what you think you can't do.
Yeah.
Because you're afraid of not doing it in a way that will be, let's say, contradicting to what people think. From what I say.
My guy,
huh?
What? Explain.
Let me explain.
Let me not.
Let's say you want to be a footballer, let's say, for example. And everyone around you, like in your family, people are doctors, engineers, and all that. So when you the thought of actually telling people that you want to be a footballer, it's like, I love football, but there's a way nikiambia wazae mother daktari buda engineer. That's not a footballer, because they'd want you to do something that is also in
something
that line.
In STEM, yeah.
So it'll be like, wacha tu ikae. And then you leave it at that. Your talent can't die. Your talent like grows old, because you also grow old and your bones become weak and you can't play anymore.
Yeah.
But you could have taken that step of, let me just tell them, no matter what they might say, I'll listen to them, but let me just get it out there so that at least wajue. Because maybe, who knows, something can happen. Something can happen, but let's say your school needs one extra player for the tournament. Then you go out there and, like, who knows?
I have friends who've traveled the world playing football. That's what they do.
And it's because you are afraid to contradict what is around you. Yeah, what is around you.
Yeah, your comfort zone.
You see, I had a good point.
We're in sync. It's really great. But yeah, and I think another thing also is, you say, okay, so I'm going to become a footballer. But then, another thing about your comfort zone is it's your comfort zone because nothing changes. So you don't have to change. See, if you become a footballer, instead of just playing football in school or just playing football with your friends, you're going to have to train.
You're going to have to eat a particular way. You're going to have to sleep at a particular time. As in, you're going to have to become a very disciplined person in order to be a footballer. If you're a singer, there's foods you're just gonna have to stay away from. You're just gonna have to stay away from. You're gonna have to exercise. You're going to have to, especially if you're still in school, like whether you're in college or you're in high school, you're gonna have to still study somehow. Like there's young celebrities who study. They study for like 4 hours a day, but they do work and they finish high school at the same time as the rest of us. But you're going to have to become this guy. That's so rude. It was inside my shoes. Why are you laughing? So rude. So I think that's another thing, is that it's not just an audition. It's not just joining a young, like a little league football club. It's also, you're going to have to be better than where you are right now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You're going to have to put in more work. You're going to have to be more disciplined. You're going to have to be more open-minded. You're going to, like, there's so many things about you that are going to have to change. And one of the reasons we stay in our comfort zone is because we don't like change.
A quote I created
just now.
Not just now.
Oh, when?
Like 3 years ago.
I'm used to you being a genius on the spot.
I am. I still am. You see, I remember something that I created 3 years ago. Somebody might really not remember. The only reason as to why we see a sunrise is because the earth keeps moving.
Oh, that one. You've had that.
Burning.
You umesikia? With both ears. You've had.
Imagine the earth like standing still.
Bro. One part of the earth would always be in daytime.
And the other part would always be
in nighttime.
Yeah. So
and then we wouldn't be able to grow certain fruits and vegetables because they only grow during the daytime.
Oh yeah, by the way.
And on that side of the world, the plants and animals that thrive during the nighttime would die. Your comfort zone kills you guys.
Squirrels are actually good animals. They are.
Where does that come from?
Is the daytime and nighttime thing. They're active both day and night, but they choose whenever to sleep. That's
think about owls.
National Geographic. Anyway, what I meant by that quote of mine is, if the earth never moved, we wouldn't be like, oh, what a beautiful sunrise, because somebody will actually be seeing that sunrise and is like, I have seen this thing forever, and it will actually be a sun.
Just be like, there, the same place, not moving.
And for that beauty to actually manifest and blow up to the entire planet, we actually need the earth to move. Sarah, stop looking at me that way. We need the earth to move, and in this scenario, you are the earth. It doesn't make sense, but you are the earth.
You are the earth, and you need to.
Need to move out of your comfort zone, out of the popular belief, contrary to popular belief.
Status quo.
No.
Hiyo
ambayo amesema status quo.
No.
You need to move.
Yeah.
And there's that popular quote that almost everybody has been told at least three times in their life. If you can't run,
he's not okay.
That backfire was sick. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. If you can't crawl, roll.
Slither.
Okay, slither or roll, whatever you do, just keep moving.
Yeah.
And in this case, we are not moving actually walking. In this case, we are moving through pushing. We push through the thoughts of, I can't do this, I'm not good enough. We push through the thoughts,
I'm not good enough. If you're not good enough, who is?
Exactly. Hey, why are we? Oh, we are
today we're on fire. Today we're on fire. If you're not good enough, who is? There are so many actors and actresses. When you think about like popular TV shows, actors and actresses who mean the world to us because of the shows they've created, never won an award. Does that mean they're not good? You look at them and say, no, that you're not a good actor. The show means the world to you, but they've never won an award for it. Doesn't mean the show's not good. It's incredible. It's wonderful. It means the world. Same thing with movies. Same thing with music. There are so many musicians who've never won an award, yet people everywhere love them and resonate with their work. So, sweetie, if you're not good enough, who is? Who is? It's not the person next to you, because that person has their own life, their own agenda, their own battles that they need to face. So it's not the person next to you, and it's not the person halfway across the world, because that's a completely different person for you. You are good enough for what it is that you are supposed to do, and that is it. That is final. So yeah.
Final.
I want for am I good enough? Please, as in you can even download this video, kata up until here, and let that be your alarm every morning. You are good enough.
Imagine having Sarah in your ear every morning. It's a lovely world, isn't it? Wow. Where was I before you came up with the motivational speak? Yeah.
I'm not good enough.
The thought of not being good enough, the thought of nobody else around has done this, so I can't do it. Hey, that
Which
one.
Which we've addressed
that
before.
One.
We've addressed that one before.
What? And the thought of, if I tell them, they'll actually, how will they even look at me? Because
does it matter?
Well, it doesn't, but to some other people it actually does. Let's say you have a group of friends, those die-hard friends, and every one of them plays at least one sport in school, and you're there.
You like music.
The anti-sportist, if there's such a word. And all of them are like, oh, cheki bro, which is a futabana. Sato kuna tona. Then you're like,
it's not, that's not
uongo. And then you feel the pressure of, if I tell these guys that I can't play, they'll look at me funny, like yani boli, yani unjo ya kupiga piga mawe, huwezi piga mpira, kitu kayo. Trust me, I've met such friends. I'm good at football, by the way. Cough.
You didn't need to say that.
I know, for emphasis, people will be thinking like,
oh, that's your personal story?
No. I was
that's
just
what I'm saying.
Example.
People will think that's your personal story.
Yeah.
So you're trying to make sure they know it's not.
Then you'll be afraid of missing out.
Yep. FOMO. Fear of missing out.
Stop the FOMO.
Stop the FOMO. Missing out on what?
There's nothing you're missing out on, by the way.
Nothing. But then there's nothing.
Because wataenda hiyo tuna wachoke wapewe glucose warudi.
But that's another thing also is, but that's their life. You know what I mean? Like that's their life. Let them enjoy that life if that is what is good for them. However, if you like music, focus on that. If you like art, focus on that. If your thing is writing, focus on that. Like, don't feel like you have to be everywhere and do everything in order to appease other people when the one thing you're being asked to do is right there looking at you. Example, Jonah. Where was this guy going? Let me just say, where was this guy going? He went aboard a ship. He ate with this man. He talked with them. I'm pretty sure they played some kind of game, because like it was
poker.
You know what I mean?
All day poker.
They played some games. He got to know them, and then he's the reason why they had to throw aboard the things that they were carrying to, what is it, Tarshish? That's such a weird name. The Bible has such. Can we just address that? Why?
Let's call it Spain.
If there's any Jews or
that
Israelites watching, please explain to me why those names. But anyway, you're probably thinking the same about Kenya, so never mind. But anyway, so they're going to Tarshish.
Let's just call it Spain. We say Spain.
I keep thinking Tarsus. Spain.
It's in Spain, so
Spain.
They're going to Spain.
So they were ferrying things aboard, and they decided to carry him as well. But because he was running away from what God wanted him to do, he made these men lose out on probably what they went to sell things. And so that's their livelihood. They had to miss out on their livelihood for fear of their lives, simply because this one person had this, it's not even fear of missing out, it's fear of doing what needs to be done. And so he's cost these people their lives. So like if you went to that football game just so that you can be with your friends, you might cost them the game. Not because you're a bad player, just because you're there and you're not supposed to be. It's not what you're supposed to be doing. So, yeah.
Apart from costing them their lives, costing them it's like they went at a loss. Because let's say they worked so hard.
I'm pretty sure they arrived with nothing. I don't even think they had food.
Like they worked so hard, let's say, to grow maize or rice or something to go and sell. Like on the other
even
side.
If they were merchants and they bought, you still have to go to the farms And because it's not like today when we have horses. I mean, when we have cars.
Horses also transport stuff.
It was back in the day where you used to walk.
Horses on sea.
No, relax. It's not like today when we have cars. It's like back in the day when you used to have to walk everywhere. So these men traveled and went and found farms and people that they can work with, people that would be able to grow what is needed to be sold, whatever it is. So that's all that work. They've already paid these men, because these farmers, because they're expecting that when they get to Tarshish, they will be reimbursed. So they are operating at a loss. And they probably threw aboard their food as well, which is just like, wow. I hope none of them died. That would be so sad.
If any of you survived out there, comment down below. We would really like to speak to you.
We'd really like to know if you're doing okay. Should we pay for therapy because you were traumatized? Like, let us know. But anyway, so yes, your fear of not doing things not only will cost you the life that you're meant to have, but will cost others the life they're meant to have, simply because you're involving other people. Human beings are not meant to live alone, regardless of corona and everything. Human beings are not meant to live alone. We thrive best when we are with other people, when we're surrounded by people. And so for you to refuse to do what you're supposed to do, for you to refuse opportunities that are meant for you, without you knowing, even if you never meet this person, you've costed somebody else. Without even ever meeting somebody, you've costed somebody else something that was meant for them, that could only come through you stepping up. And like the poem that I read said, you stepping up and you living
something.
Hold up. Yes, you being liberated from your own fear is what would enable them to live the life that they're meant to live. That's literally the last two verses of the poem. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So without doing so, you've deprived other people of that. I was doing so well and then I lost it.
Wait, something else has just popped up. Let's think of the Israelites. I have a very, very, very weird scenario, but it also involves fear in a way. You see, the Israelites, while in the wilderness and Moses was up there talking to, they pressured Aaron to build them a calf so that they can worship. And it's not that they actually needed, but it's because, in Egypt, let's face it, they have hundreds of gods, and probably there's one of them.
Israel. I was like, what?
There's probably one shaped like a maw. Anyway, there is that, the feeling of wanting to be like other nations. That was one thing that led to Israel's demise back in the day. Wow. They saw the Canaanites had their gods, these other guys had their gods, Amorites, whoever.
That's what they always went to Moses with. When we were in Egypt, we were fine. Oh, we're surrounded by all these people who are like this. Why are we not like this?
And let's face it, none of them went into the promised land, of which that's also a waste, manze. You are promised this land full of milk and honey. You're like, that's heaven. Then you don't step into just because you wanted to be like somebody else. Do
you see where we're going with this?
And that's where this issue of contempt comes in. And what is contempt?
Why are you asking me?
I don't know.
I'm not a human dictionary. Contempt is basically, I don't know, when you don't like somebody. Or I think an easy example would be, for example, when, like, you love your siblings, yeah? Most of us do. And then they do something that really, really hurts you. But you have to still live with them. You have to still do things with them. You have to still go places with them. But inside of you, there's hurt and there's pain. So you hold them in contempt, basically. That's what that is. You're holding them in contempt. And that's what God does with us when we... What's the word? when we continue to live in our fear instead of allowing his presence to liberate us, when we continue to live in our fear, which is basically, especially, how do I say this? When you're living in your fear, you know the way your sibling has hurt you? That's what you're doing to God. You've hurt him. Because you're telling him, I know you're big and great and all that jazz, but I don't trust you enough to do this with you. You know? I don't trust you enough to carry me through whatever this is going to be. I don't trust you enough to step out of my comfort zone into everything that you have for me. That's what you're telling him. And that hurts. It's like when your friend tells you, like you're telling your friend, no, it's okay, I'll help you. And they're like, no, I don't trust you. And not in like a funny way, but like a genuinely like, yeah, I don't trust you to do a good job, or I don't trust that you're smart enough. It's like, it's that, you know? And so God holds you in contempt. Like, he still loves you. Yeah, he's still gonna be there for you. But it's also like, I had this whole thing for you. I had this whole big thing for you. But because you were too scared, and you didn't think that I could carry you through, and you didn't think that we could do this together, you've refused it. So now what am I supposed to do with it? What is he supposed to do with it? What is he supposed to do with the life that you are supposed to have that you've refused? What is he supposed to do? So God holds you in contempt. Doesn't mean he doesn't love you. Doesn't mean he's not going to answer all your other prayers. Doesn't mean he's not going to come through. But there's something that is being held in his heart. And it's not he hates you, or I don't even know, like if you see him, he'll be bad towards you. It's just his heart. You've hurt him. And in so doing, he's like, I'm holding it, because there's nowhere else I can take it. You can't take it out on you. You can't take it out on somebody else. Yeah, that's the best way to explain contempt.
Another way to explain contempt towards God, it's lack of obedience.
From God, Jesus. What do you mean towards God?
Chizungu nchigumu. I'll repeat again. Yes, lack of obedience or lack of taking actions in the things he has called us to do. That's contempt. He tells you are going to be doing this in your life, you're going to be great at it, and you're like, I'll pass. And that's what happened to our cousin Jonah back in the day.
He's your cousin? I didn't know.
Well, Father Abraham, so we are all related.
I guess so.
Yeah, he was called to do something. He was called to do something, but then he didn't take the action to do it. You remember I talked about taking action like 4 weeks back? 4 or 3?
I don't know.
Something weeks back, we were talking about preparing for action. And now here is what happens when we don't take that action. We lose a lot. Like, we literally lose stuff that would be possibly and definitely actually helpful to us. Let's say the
best part of your life.
Let's say you were supposed to go for an auditions. Let's say there's this show that they need not even something fancy, they just need a supporting character, not somebody who will be speaking that much. Utakuwa tu. Then you're like, I can do that, but nah. Then somebody else does it and they get, let's say, an award for it, and they're like, that would have been me. Actually, it would have been you, but you didn't take the action to do it, and you missed out on that opportunity. And missing out on opportunities is not just like physically missing out on opportunities. Sometimes you can miss blessings through that. Let's say we are supposed to go to church and have the tithe and offering and everything, but then wewe uko like, hii offering ambayo nimepatiwa manze, huku nje kuna njaa kweli, nitakula kasamosa hivi nikitoka. And then you find out that pesa ambayo umetumia kununua samosa manze, it would have opened something else in your life that you didn't imagine. Let's say you want to start a business. Then most people before they start a business, they're like, let's take it to this pastor so that he can bless us and dedicate this whole building. Then you're like, whatever, I can just start the whole business myself, I can open this building, who cares? And a few months later the business dies and you're like, what happened? It's not that you aren't a good enough businessman or woman or so. It's because you failed to take the action of putting God first in whatever you do. So, guys, fear is, stay with me in this one. Fear is the absence of
Courage.
Fear is the absence of courage. But fear is also the lack of action. Let's say lack of action.
Lack of action.
Because there's stuff that you're supposed to do and you're the only one who can do it.
Word.
And if you don't do it, then who will? Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
it. That's all we have to say, guys.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot today. I'm tired. We've talked a lot today,
Especially her.
We've talked a lot today. We're so glad you could join us. Yeah. We're supposed to pray, right? Do you want to pray?
I'll pray. Bow your heads for word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this lovely session that you've given us. Thank you for your word. Thank you for the wisdom that you've granted us to share our experiences, to share motivation to the people who are listening, people who are watching this. And I pray that the fear that is in each and everyone's hearts, I pray that fear may die. 2021 is not the year to fear, but 2021 is the year of taking action, and we will achieve all that you have planned for us to achieve. And in Jesus' name we pray, trusting and believing. Amen.
Yeah.
We will see you next time.
Bye.
Oh, and before we go, could you please hold this for me?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, have a sip. Good. That's enough for you. Thank you. Yeah. So I know most of you mnasema kwa comments sisi wani wachoyo. I read the comments. Actually nobody said that. I just thought it would be something awesome to do anyway. I'll see you next time.